Well, howdy y'all, welcome back to the Social Regressive. The regressive field rifle and 6mm ARC may be complete, but we need to accessorize for success. And I'm going to start out with a couple of things that you see already attached to the rifle. Since I will be running the Magpul MS4, and I'm going to put links to everything down in the description, I'm going to use this sling that can go from a single point that attaches right back here on the stock. It can go from a single point to a double, just with the push of a button and the pop of another socket. I needed something up here. So yeah, the Magpul PRS Lite already has a socket back here, but I needed one up front. So I got this from Grove Tech. This has a little Picatinny rail section if I ever want to mount a light on there for night hunting. And yes, that is legal for hogs, thank you. But yeah, it has two sockets as well, so I can choose to pop these in there. Also up top, you can see this weird little block that has a screw on it, and this is the attachment point for the weird bipod. You can see that this is right out near the muzzle. And the best thing about this is, as you can see, I don't actually have to carry the bipod. This is the UTG Overbore, and it isn't attaching to the bottom for a couple good reasons. I actually did a full review on this, so make sure you check that out. I'll put a link up here. But this bipod sits over the top of the bore so you can get more of the mass of the rifle below it. So what happens when this is deployed is that this bipod, you can put it on any kind of ground and the rifle will auto level. And now you're going to want to help it along some, but this is not a rifle that wants to fall over. Check this out. All right, I'll put this on the bench, and I've got my hand back here on the stock, and if this were a regular, kind of floating bipod up there, this rifle would just fall over and go clunk. But no, this is going to want to go with gravity and just auto center up. This is a wonderful design. It's well built, seems to be tough so far. It does have a couple different leg angles. Here, let me see if I can get one of these. There we go. So you can do a 45 up front there. These extend just with a pull, and you can choose your lock points. Then you press to retract. I wish it didn't have that feature. I've talked about this before. I don't think there's really any good reason to have an auto retract bipod. I think it's just dumb, and it makes things more difficult out in the field. But because of the design of this overall, it still works out really well. And yeah, you do get a little friction lock if you want to lock it in place on kind of a midpoint. Yeah. Love this thing. So yeah, you can lock the bipod in place and you can tension it. So if you have a specific spot where you know that level is, just crank that down and then this is suddenly static. So that means that I get to carry the bipod in my backpack instead of out on the end of my rifle where I'm going to have so much weight anyway, especially if I'm running suppressed. This is the YHM Titanium suppressor. It is delightfully quiet. And I've used it to good effect out hunting, and I continue to do that with the 6mm ARC. Now for some of the other bits and bobs that are going to be coming along with me. Let's go ahead and put this away. One of the most important things I'm going to be bringing along with me is hearing protection, and I'm going to go smaller than usual, I think, on most of my hunts. These are the ones I used on my last deer hunt, and I was really happy with how they worked. These are the Axel GS Extreme earbuds, and they are much improved now. The GS Extreme 2.0 does a better job of keeping out the loud sounds. It has much larger earplugs that go in. They really fill the ear, and so far I haven't had any issues at all with pistols, rifles, magnums, whatever. So yeah, these are lightweight, and one of the really big good things about these is that, okay, they provide the hearing enhancement, so I can hear grunts of hogs, I can hear animals stomping around, I can hear my buddies, and I can actually be on the phone with them, whispering to them, if we want to use these as comms. But these will actually stay out of the way of the rifle. This is something that I'm really gonna look forward to, because if you have an over-the-ear hearing protector, you get that comb up on your face, it starts to push the thing off. It's uncomfortable, and it could allow more sound to come through. So yeah, I'm gonna be using these instead, and it's just not gonna mess with me at all. All right, we've taken a look at the UTG Overbore bipod, and that's gonna be great for when I'm prone, kind of up on a ridge or maybe on a truck, but that's not gonna work in all cases. I'm gonna need stability in some other odd positions I know from being out on some of these Oklahoma ranches. Sometimes you got to get up over the grass. Sometimes you just have a tricky shot, and so you need some different stability options. So that's why I'm going to be bringing out the Primos trigger stick. This is the Gen 3. It's very smooth, quiet, and it just kind of works with anything. So you take any rifle, plop this down, just kind of put it on the ground, pop your rifle in here. You can set the height by pulling this trigger, and then yeah, you're nice and stable as long as you kind of keep your hand out on this end. Now, as you can see, it'll fall over if you leave it to its own devices. It doesn't really provide stability except straight down. So for some of those instances where I need to get into something where maybe I need to be a bit more hands-free, or I need to have one hand loose, or I just want to be more stable overall, I'm going to be bringing this out. This is the Athlon Midas CF29. This is a tripod, and it has carbon fiber legs. Please go check this out. I'm going to put a link down below so you can take a look at this. This has only been out for a couple of months, but this is an extremely high quality tripod. I've tested it out just a little bit. We'll do a full video on it here soon. But this has a ball head up at the top that you can adjust the friction on, so it can make for very smooth glides, smooth motion with a rifle, with a spotting scope, with a laser rangefinder, whatever you need to pop up on here in order to very precisely get on target. This is a different way to do it, and it'll be able to hold it up all by itself because it has 3 legs. But yeah, there are a couple different models of these. There's one aluminum one, that's the cheapest one they have, and then they step up to the CF29, and then all the way up through the CF40. The CF40 has bigger legs, so if you have a really big, heavy rifle and you want to make absolutely sure that everything is locked down really, really tight, you can use that. To attach the rifle to this, though, that can be a little bit of a tricky business, so that's why I bought this. This is a little piece of ARCA rail. ARCA is just a standard that's used by tripod manufacturers. So this will screw on to the bottom of the handguard, or wherever I want to put it. I'll probably put it right about here near the center of gravity. And then I'm going to, yeah, it's just going to screw onto the M-LOK. This is an M-LOK adapter. And then this will slide into the foot of the tripod. So I can just swap out that usual quarter, I think it's quarter 20 threaded head that you have for cameras and all that sort of stuff. This will go in there instead. And yeah, I should be able to just let go of the rifle and it'll hang out there all by itself. So that's going to be new for me. I've never done that before, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how it works. While we're on the subject of glass, the spotting scope that I will take out is obviously going to be the Athlon Aries 15-45. It has a flexible zoom range. It's going to be useful in a whole lot of situations, and it's probably going to be sitting on that tripod a whole lot. You can check out the full review up here. The other glass that I'm going to be working with in situations where things might get a little bit quicker, where I'm trying to just kind of scan around and find animals, I'm going to be using what's in here. This is the Allen Terrain case that I reviewed a while back. I've got a lot of reviews going on in here. And the Bushnell Engage binoculars. This is the EDX version. This has extra low dispersion glass, which is pretty much the same as UHD. And yeah, these are more clear than you can imagine, especially for the price tag. I think these run somewhere around $400. And with these, I've used these for spotting hits for other people. I've used this to call wind. You can see mirage. You can see all kinds of things with these binoculars. They're pretty lightweight. I've used them hunting. They go with me everywhere now. And you can attach a rangefinder to the side. This is the Nikon that is no longer made. It's stabilized, and I'm never giving it up. This thing is great. But I do have a couple other options for you guys to look at that I've been testing for a while now. I've used them with the 6mm ARC rifle, and these are just the coolest little things. This is the Horus hover system. And this is not just a rangefinder and a wind meter. This is actually a whole weather station. It collects everything about the atmosphere. And from temperature to barometric pressure, it figures out what kind of density altitude that you're at. And all you have to do is just press a button. You don't have to think about it. And the coolest thing is that once you press that button, it's going to capture it on your phone. It's going to go to the app, and it's going to come up with a solution for you. So once you snap what your distance is with the rangefinder, and you pick up with the wind meter what's going on in your atmosphere, it's going to tell you the solution to your target. It is the coolest thing ever. It'll actually show you on the reticle where you need to hold, and then it'll also tell you your solution, like you need to dial this much, 1.7 mils up, and then you need to hold 3 mils for wind. And that sounds like a pretty harsh wind, especially at whatever distance that is. But anyway, you get what I'm talking about. Now, naturally, I'm not going to be bringing all this stuff out with me. This is a whole bunch of junk. I'm not going to drag it all out with me on a hunt. I'm going to know beforehand what kind of situation I'm getting into, and I'm going to kind of pare back my loadout based on that. But one thing that I will be bringing with me is bigger mags. As long as I'm not hunting deer, I'm going to be dragging these out. So these are the Duramags. I've been testing these so far. I have some 26 rounders. It's the same as the 6.5 Grendel. So if you're looking for this mag, it's usually listed as a 6.5 Grendel mag. So they have 26 round, 20, there's a 10 and a 5. I think I have everything but the 10 rounder now that I think about it. So yeah, it's going to have magazines that are just about as big as you are going to get with a 223 Remington rifle. And I'm going to have a ton of firepower if we get into a whole sounder of hogs. Can't wait to start unleashing the fury with that. And I'm going to have them all like stuffed in my pockets and all that. The case that I'm going to be using is the good old Midway drag bag. It's their big tactical competition sniper bag thing. And I like it because it's really long and it's really tough. I've been using this for years and years. I haven't damaged it in any way. The zippers are still fine. The foam on the inside that protects the rifles is fine. I can carry one rifle, I can carry two. And one of the nice things about it being so long is that I can take a rifle like this one, I can actually still keep the can attached, and I can actually hold it in that case. Man, and now that I feel this with the can attached, this sucker is so heavy. I hope you guys go with the other barrel like I mentioned in the other video. This Odin one weighs a ton. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Everything has gone really well. The only thing I'd like to point out really quickly is that if an FFP reticle with a Christmas tree and really nice glass and a good zoom range isn't for you, then there are some other options to be thinking about. These are two that I would recommend. If you are into a simpler reticle, if you want something that's more set up for deer hunting, that's what you got your 6mm arc rifle for, you really ought to check out the Zerotech Thrive. The glass is much better than you can imagine. I've done a full review on this if you want to actually take a look through it. Very, very good glass, and it's just a great setup overall. Yeah, 3-12 by 44mm, killer scope. And then this one, okay, now here's that Thrive. Good choice. And it just has, kind of a simple, well, it's a little bit more complex duplex reticle, but it's going to be good for like a little bit of wind hold. Otherwise, it really is like a simpler crosshair. But this one, if you are interested more in the precision side of things, if you want to be able to take out coyotes and other smaller animals at really long distances, you got to check out this. I am just in the middle of testing this one. This is the Zerotech Trace Advanced. So if you are going to be prone, check this scope out. This has exceptionally clear glass again. This is a 4.5 to 27 by 50mm scope. So this is the same form factor as the Bushnell Forge that is no longer being made. And I'm so sad that that scope is going away because it is fabulous, especially for the price. It is great. Killer glass. You can see anything that you want. It has a good Christmas tree reticle. This one does too. Yeah, and this is FFP all the way. So you can very smoothly zoom this. It's a little bit on the slow side, but it's nice and smooth. 4.5 up to 27. Side focus, as you might expect. And it has locking turrets, all the good stuff that you want. So if you're interested in, something that's really precise and you can nail down really tiny targets, you really got to check this guy out. That's all I'll say for now. Thank you all very much for making this series possible. When we get out on hunts, I'll be sure to collect some footage and show you guys. But it's just nice to know that the rifle works. And yeah, you guys made it all happen. Thank you, patrons of the Destructive Arts. See y'all around. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley.
Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These 2 videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, The Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the Destructive Arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.